how about we go to the ATL?
Bring
And our
it
man
in.
DeShaun Tate, who is standing by, he's been doing post-game duties in the locker room for On Three Sports
Yeah.
in the aftermath of the Auburn win. He's now available with us in the State Farm Arena. Hello to Mr. Tate's Take. We love the insight late night Friday into Saturday on college basketball coast to coast. Pick it up as we were just discussing here about I love asking this question in the arena. How wild and crazy was it when Auburn went 12-0 and then 20-2 to overtake Michigan and win the game? What was it like in the arena? DeShaun, welcome.
I'll tell you what, and I appreciate you guys for having me. I mean, listen, I remember seeing the Michigan State and Ole Miss, and Michigan State typically travels pretty well, and I'm like, Ole Miss has a good amount of fans here. Um, but then I think what Auburn was bringing in, of course, not everybody had arrived at the arena yet, and I'm like, yeah, this is a different level. And then, so it's not only just a lot of people, but it's already a little hectic and chaotic anyways, just because I mean forget the student section that they have there, but I feel like they brought every single student of the
The
student
jungle,
section out.
the
The
jungle, right?
jungle, yeah, and you know that
Yes.
that's a crazy place to play at, and a crazy and not very many wins you get there, at least not under Bruce Pearl's belt. But no, it was definitely rocking. And especially in the second half. The first half obviously they didn't play their best brand of basketball or what have you. And I know some of the guys have been, kind of talking about what alluded to the second half run that they made, and obviously being able to slam the door in Michigan's face is because there was a reminder at the half that, a lot of the vibe and the energy in the field was felt a little bit disrespected because leading up to the NCAA tournament, there were people that were just talking about they were skating by some of their games, not even winning. Obviously they won, I think lost what, like three out of last four or three out of
Right.
last five or whatever it was. And then, obviously Alabama State gave them a good run for their money in the first half of the very first game. So they were kind of feeling their own little ways about that a little bit, and then definitely felt the need to come out and put on a show in the second half. And to be honest with you, that's exactly what they did.
Just follow up again on what we just touched on. I don't know how much you heard it about Pettiford, the freshman, and Denver Jones. They seem to make everything during that
Yeah.
run. What did you perceive from being right there on Auburn making all the big shots? Not just a few, man, all of them. It looked like DeShaun
No,
when they had to have it.
and they did. And I think at one point in time on that run, Denver Jones had scored like 10 of the team's points consecutively or something kind of
Correct.
crazy
Correct.
like that. And, a lot of times he tends to get a little bit more credit because of his ability to play on the defensive side of the ball. So I think that they're just, they got to a point where they're just clicking and maybe just needed a little bit of a wake up call or a reminder, which I think that they're a little bit lucky because not oftentimes are you going to be, play into this late into the season and then still be able to get a wake up call and be able to pull away a win on such a significant level. Talking about, an advancement to the Elite Eight. Not everybody's going to be Michigan and allow you to do that, but nonetheless, that's what the great teams do. And this isn't, just any old team. This is also the #1 overall seed, obviously a #1 seed, and arguably or inarguably, I know people in Durham are going to feel their own way about it, but this Auburn team has been the best team in the country all year long, and they've got some big time wins. I mean, they've beaten Houston. They've kind of gotten into a couple scuffles with each other, if I'm not mistaken, on some
Duke fans will
airplanes on the
point
way.
out that Duke got them in the head-to-head matchup with Auburn. Duke
They
fans would
will.
point that out if they were here.
And
But
that and that they will. And so, Auburn has looked like a really good basketball team, obviously, and got some size to go with it. I knew that they had some guys that were big. I'm not sure if I knew that they had some guys that were that size. And listen, they're loose. I just came out of that locker room and I was in it yesterday after the shoot around in practice. They're loose. Maybe a little bit too loose to my liking sometimes, just because it kind of gives that vibe and feel like they're not taking things all the way serious. Nonetheless, if there's a team that can afford to do that, it's them.